Hello everyone, this is Niladri Mahapatra once again. Today we'll learn how we'll be able to configure the Kanban board in Rally. So this name Rally, it was earlier Rally, now it's CA Technologies, but most of in this tutorial I will refer the name Rally because that name is most popular in the industry. So we'll try to configure the Rally, and we'll see how we can create the board and make it useful for your Kanban practice. So before we begin, I'll suggest if you are new to Kanban, please visit our previous video. You can actually come to YouTube and search the channel Agile Digest, and over there you will be able to find the video that I am talking about, Understanding Kanban and Agile Framework. This is the video that I want you to go through if you are new to Kanban. That way you will be able to understand the basic concept of Kanban, and that will help you understand what we are configuring in this particular ALM tool, why we are doing it. And also, if you like to read about the basic concept of Kanban, visit this site. Visit the site http://agiledigest.com. I also have attached the link for both the YouTube video and this particular link on the description. So here you will be able to read all these topics, the basic concept, the real life comparison with Kanban, how the board you can configure and how it flows, the benefits of Kanban, what is the difference between Scrum and Kanban, and also you can see all this video along with the basic concept and different ALM tool, how we can configure it over there. You'll be able to learn what are the different metrics we can get from Kanban and what exactly those metrics represent. Without wasting much your time, let's talk about the area that we'll cover in this particular video. Okay, now let's talk about the agenda, what we'll be covering mostly today. Today we'll be talking about how we can create a new project, because I will start from scratch to create a new project and configure it from there, and then we will configure the Kanban board. There are two ways of configuring the Kanban board. So we'll configure the team board for Kanban purpose, and there will be another custom Kanban board we can make, and we'll see what's how. So within that team board we'll be mapping up the columns and status. Then we'll be doing the WIP limits, so we limit the work in progress limit for those columns, and then we'll map the exit criteria. In the another side, on configure custom Kanban board, will be again create some custom columns, and we'll do the status mapping. So whatever the status we have, we'll map that, and then we'll be configuring the WIP limits, then we'll be doing the exit criteria, and then we'll make some custom swim lanes that we have learned. Okay, let's jump into Rally. Okay, this is a Rally. So first thing first, we'll be creating a project within Rally. So we'll go to the parent project that we have, and within that we'll be create a child project. So this is a community edition of Rally. So we have certain limitation within that. We'll try to see how many project and how we can do that. So this is the children of the current project that we have selected. I can say new and that action, and we'll create a new project, and I'll be giving a name Kanban demo, and I'm not giving any specific information at this point of time, and I'll be saving it. So first thing, you can do any changes before you need to save it first, and then it will enable your different areas that you want to configure. So if you want to make any kind of changes, that you can do later, but for this purpose I'm saving and closing it. So now this project is created, and we'll see if that is listed down here. So this is your the primary project here. This is the Kanban demo. So this is once you have created your Kanban board, you will be landed to the dashboard where there is nothing is configured so far. So within that Kanban board will Kanban demo project will see how we can configure the Kanban board. So I'll click on track, and there is one new option, Steam board. This is something beta they have, and we are actually trying to make that area to make that board. So this is a default rally. So in rally, it's the default status are defined in progress, completed, and accepted. So you can actually add one status before defined and one status after accepted. So to customize this particular agile area here, I had added one status called backlog to track all the raw stories requirements captured in backlog area. So now we'll be creating the columns. So what are the columns we'll be creating that we had talked about our earlier video? We'll be creating in the same way. So let's have a quick recap. What are the columns that we are planning to build? Okay, so columns, the first columns we need a to do, then we'll be making an analysis, and then we'll be making dev in progress, then we'll be making another column QA in progress, then we'll be making UAT, and finally done. So that will be total 6 columns that we need. Whatever the 5 status we checked in rally, we need to map those status within these columns. So let's see how we can do it over here. So here in this team within track team board, you can actually configure the columns by renaming the existing columns or create new columns. So what I am saying, this backlog, let's make the column name as to do, and then I had analysis, and then I have dev in progress, then I can have QA in progress, and then I can have UAT, and finally I need one more. So I'll be clicking here and move that to the extreme right, and we'll say this is my done state. Now to do, I'll map with the state backlog. Analysis, I'll map with in progress. This is a in progress state. Dev in progress is in progress. QA, I'll keep it as in progress. UAT, I will be keep it as completed or in progress. You can decide based on your need where do you want to put it. So for this tutorial, I am keeping it is in progress. I'm treating that UAT will be part of our Kanban board, and finally done is accepted. So if you again think about the rally status, the rally states start from backlog. So backlog was the first one, then we had defined, then we have in progress, and then after in progress you can have either completed or accepted. So if it's not showing all the status here, because it's only checks what's the status it has on left and what's the status it has on right. Based on that, it shows the status. So here it can show backlog, defined, in progress. Those were actually the previous status of in progress. If it is in progress here, because in progress, the left is in progress, and in between it has completed and right is accepted. So it shows the sequence of the status based on the column's position. Okay, once we are done, let's go back to the board and see how does that looks like. Okay, I saved it, and then I am checking. Okay, this is the current board I have. So we got what exactly we need for the column size. Then let's see what we can add later. So there are some exit criteria that we talked about in rally. They call it as exit agreement. So if I actually click on the link to watch the exit agreement, you can do that. Show exit agreement. So here the exit agreement you have, you can actually change the exit agreement again here. You can write whatever your definition of analysis done, definition of development done, or definition of QA done on this area. So I am just adding one point here: all code has to be reviewed. And another point, should has to be deployed in QA environment. So this exit agreement means it can be moved to the stories from in dev in progress to QA in progress can only move if it meets this agreement. So let's see how does that looks like now. So if you want to see the exit agreement, so these will keep on showing you on the board. We don't have any stories as of now. You can create a story, or by default if you already had some stories on backlog, that will start appearing here. I'm creating a new story, add now, and I'm saying let's make an user story of this particular project, and I'm giving a name user story 1 and create. So whatever you will be creating, you will be appear on the first to do. And we have not actually talked about the whip limit. Will come to there, and they have an options of configuring this board. What are the field you want to see in this particular board? So we'll talk about that. This is a block study. If you mark it, it will show it as red, and this one is one kind of ready mark that you need to do. It's showing currently to do, total number of hours is 0, and then we have the number of tasks it has. Okay, so if you actually click on this particular icon, it will be showing what are the fields you want to see. So I have to do and task. If you don't want to see the task, you can click here, apply here, that will go from here. If you want to see any fields, so let's take that task back here, and I can say tasks I need to show in my card, and it will be appearing here. Now I'll create one more story quickly. Let me quick two more story. User story 2 create, and user story 3 create. So I have created 3 stories right now. Those are in board. If you want to see the board little more stories in one page, you can hide those to do and task information from here. Now let's implement the whip limit. So we'll go to the status here, and you can see this is an options for whip limit. For to do, I am not applying anything, and based on your team size, the nature of work you do, you can decide a whip limit, and again that is subject to revise after a certain time. So it's not one time change you can do. So for analysis, I am just giving a 3 limit. For dev in progress, I am giving a 4 limit, and for QA I am giving 3 limit. UAT, again I am treating this as a beyond control column, so we'll not be treating this as any whip limit for this particular column. So whenever you will be calculating your cycle time, you will be calculating from analysis to QA done, and UAT is a one stage before done. So you can even change the status to completed here, and that's in UAT. So based on your need, you can do that. So you can actually check how many time your story was in progress, so that way you can calculate the cycle time. So cycle time will be total time it was within in progress state. Okay, I'm saving it, and let's see how does that looks like in Rally. So now it's showing 3, 4, 3. So if I move one story to analysis and this story again to analysis, everything looks fine. Now if I move this story, it's again fine because it's still in the limit. And if I create one more story here, add new, and I am saying create one user story with the name user story 4, it will appear on to do, and from there I'll move it to 3. So it will now start turning red. So this is red, that means it's having total stories in this column more than its WIP limit. And in that way you can move your stories from analysis to dev, and then QA, UAT, and done. There is a quick way you can change user story. If you click on that user story, it's open a new screen, but Rally has an options to change to a quick view. So if you click there, it will be appearing just right side of the board, and you can keep on changing there. It has an options that you can create a task right here, and it's saying okay, this is the user story. Here I will be add new task. So this is the user story that I'm creating the task for. So I say task 1 create, and you can do all assignment, estimation on hours that you can do based on your need. And this is task 3. Okay, so there are 2 tasks I have created, and I am saying I am done with these changes, return to previous view. So once you have came here, you will be able to see for this particular story, user story that we have created is having 2 tasks, and I can actually move into analysis here. If you want to see what are the tasks it has, it will be showing all the tasks over here. You can actually go back and take a look, do your action, and then come back. So this is how you will be configuring the Kanban board in this particular area under track team board. The only disadvantage of this beta team board for Kanban is it's not provide any options for create your custom swim lanes. So it have these many configuration options, and I am not able to create a expedite lane or intangible swim lanes for this particular board. But in Rally there are some options you can configure that will be a different board. So I'll talk about that board now. Let's move to the another board where we can configure our Rally's Kanban board with having more functionalities. Well, now we will be creating another board. We already saw a Kanban board by the default Kanban board options you have under team board. Now we'll be creating a different board, and let's say we'll be making it for the Kanban demo. So I'll click on report, and we'll create one report here, not this icon. We'll click on this plus icon, and it will bring up a new screen where we'll be giving the name of the report, and I'm giving Kanban board, and share with all project doesn't necessary. I'll be making it with this particular board, and I'm saying I don't need it for any iteration or release. I'll click on save and close. It will bring up the screen where you can select what's your layout will be, and I'm selecting the first one because I need the entire screen for that board. Now once you have clicked it, click on start adding apps, and it will be show you the app catalog where you can actually select Kanban board. So this is a default view of Kanban board. I'll click on add this app, and it will bring up with the default status what we had. But we already talked about the status. These are the status that we'll be working on, and to make this status available on Rally we need to make a tweak. So let's see what's that. So here if you see, there is options called settings. If you click on settings, you can see what the name of the board will be and what's the height. So I'm keeping it as it is. The column section here is currently showing it all the schedule state. So the status that I was talking about in Rally, it's having a default set of that status that's called schedule state, and these are the schedule state mapped with different columns. So in Rally it's fixed that this default state will be always be available for any kind of transition, any kind of flow, and you need to play with these status by mapping with your custom fields or custom columns. So for the purpose of this Kanban board, I will be creating one custom field. So I'll go to, so remember if you don't have admin rights, you'll not be able to create custom fields. So probably you need to talk with your admin person of Rally. They can help you out to create that create that field. And I'll be clicking on this fields here. I'll select user story, and these are all the available fields for user stories. I'll create one new field, and name of the field I'll give Kanban columns, columns. Display name again Kanban columns, and the type I will select a drop down list, and the list option I will give here that the columns that we have talked about. So I'll do it with to do. I will do analysis, then I will say dev in progress, QA in progress, UAT, and the last one is done. And I am making it visible particularly for this project. So let's see how that can get affected there. Save and close. Yes, we done creation with the column for the column field, the custom field we created for all the columns. And I'll go back to my original board where we can set up settings, and instead of schedule state I will be I need to refresh it, otherwise that will not come up. Now this is the Kanban columns that we had created, and you see all these fields we have created. The none, we have not created it, but as you have created a drop down column, when you create a drop down column, that none value automatically comes up because that's a null value. It's created to keep the stories those were created before creating this field for those stories specifically. Okay, so we're not mapping any column. So if you look into the list of the schedule state mapping, we have all these default states that we have. You need to map this state with the columns that we have created. So for an example, for to do, I am saying this is a backlog. Analysis, I am treating it as in progress. Okay, so this one I again marking it as in progress, and this one again in progress. UAT, let's mark it as completed, and done is accepted. So that's the mapping we have. Now which are the columns you want to show in your board? So none, I don't want to show it, but rest of all the columns I will be showing it. So I clicked all of them as yes. Now if I save it and go back to our board, let's see how does that appears. So yes, this is our board. We are ready with all the columns that we have talked about. Only thing is we'll be now setting up few of the WIP limits here. You can see all the WIP limits are by default infinite. So I'll go there and we'll set that WIP limit for to do. For an example, let's make it as 3, and to do I'll not making it anything, so I'll leave it infinite. Analysis I'll be making it 3, dev in progress let's make it 4, test in progress. So based on your team structure, nature of work, their skill set, you can define this WIP limit for the smooth flow and flow based, to implement the flow based Kanban. And what exactly that flow based Kanban is, if you watch the previous video you will be able to understand what exactly is that. Okay, so we have implemented this WIP limit, and let's see how does that work. I will be saving this once again. Yes, so we have saved this. We are able to see this WIP limit, and again it will be again if we create user story 1, I'll be creating couple of story here. So I have created 4 stories. Our analysis have 3 limits, so I can move 3 without any issues. But as and when you will be making one story to move here, your this column will be moving more than that limit, and it will start it will showing you on red color. So that's how the WIP limit you set is give you an idea that this column has more than the WIP limit. Now you can actually move the stories once it is in progress. Now everything is within limit. So that's how you will implement the work in progress limit. The another thing we need to implement, that's the exit criteria or agreement. So this is here where you will be able to see. For an example, dev in progress, I need to set some policies or exit agreement or exit criteria. I can say all code should have merged to XYZ branch, and code review comments should have updated in comment section if any. So these are the definition of done. You can define your definition of done for development, your definition of done of QA. So when we talk about Kanban, we normally don't say that this is definition of done. We call it as policies or exit criteria or exit agreement. So this exit agreement works every time when a story move the boundary of one columns. So if you are moving this story to QA, so over there you need to check what's the exit criteria, if the story is meeting that exit agreement or not. If yes, then we can move it. If not, then we need to work on the story to or any other areas associated to the story to meet that exit agreement. Now there is one more thing we'll be working on, the expedite lane or the swim lanes. So it's have an options for swim lanes, and where you can actually choose a field that you wants to work as a swim lane. So here if you have an expedite column, and if you click on save, it will create another expedite lane that you can actually work on. Now in Rally you can actually have an option for quick edit. So once you click it, there is a toggle option. You can see it on full screen or quick edit mode, and you see this story is now editable on the right hand side, and I can set it to the expedite by checking this checkbox. So as this is a checkbox, you can have only two swim lanes, whether it is checked or not checked. If it is checked, then it is expedite yes, and if I mark it as checked and click on save, you can see this will go up, and that way you can actually prepare an expedite lane to get an exception of your work in progress limit and focus primarily on the expedite lane. Your primary focus is to clean the expedite lane as fast as possible. Okay, so now we already have talked about different swim lanes that we want to have, and let's see what are the swim lanes that we want to implement here. So for swim lanes, we talked about expedite, that is possible now. We talked about time bound swim lanes, where any user story is coming up with a defined end date or defined deadline. By that date it has to be implemented. So that kind of stories we need to keep in some swim lanes over here. And you can also have something called intangible. So this swim lane is not very necessary, but to have your Kanban board more visible and to more organized, you can have those swim lanes properly. So intangible stories, all stories, those are kind of your maintenance issues or kind of server migration, technical things that is not giving you any real-time business value updation in a short-term view, but those are having a long-term advantage on your overall project development. And another swim lane you can have as a normal. So having this swim lane is not compulsory, but to organize your view, you can have those swim lanes. And remember, only the stories under expedite lane can take an exception on your work in progress limit. Any stories in inbound or intangible or normal, you don't need to, that will not actually give an exception on your work in progress limit. Secondly, if you don't want to have this swim lanes, you still can work with different stories by making a different color of each stories. If it is a time bound stories, give it a red color, or intangible, give it a blue color, normal, leave it as it is. So that way also you can do. So let's try to implement these swim lanes, how we'll be able to do it. So again, we'll be creating a custom field for this particular project, and we'll be making it as a new field, a drop down list, where I can say swim lanes, and the display name again swim lanes. I need to remove this space here, and the type I will be selecting here is a drop down list, and the list option I will be giving expedited. Then I can have time bound. Let's give it a space in between. Then we can have intangible and normal, and let's see how does this appear, and this will be available to this project. So this one, save and close. Let me just copy this because I will be needing it once again. So this was a new field we have created, swim lanes unique name. So I think we have created somewhere earlier. So I'm saying swim lane 1. I think I have used this field for some other project. Okay, so this is something we already have created, but remember the type we had selected was defect. Now I need to create a same field with for user story. So I'll be creating I'll be having that as a drop down list. I'll be having these many options, and swim lane _1, swim lane 1. I guess this is the name I have given for both the field. That has to be, this is you need to remember, if you are implementing a swim lane with custom field, you need to create both for bugs and user story. So for user story we have swim lane 1, and for defect, let's see if we have that swim lane 1. Yes, here it is swim lanes 1, so we need to make it the same name. So instead of swim lanes, I need to change it to swim lane. Done. So here I have swim lane 1, and for user story I have swim lane 1. Now let's get back to our board configuration. So here it is now expedite and no. I'll be changing it to all the swim lines that we have talked about. So instead of swim lanes expedite, I need to refresh this, otherwise it is not reflect so quickly. And I'll go to setting once again and see if that column is appearing here. Swim lane 1, it's here. So once I have selected that swim lane, we'll see how that will be visible over there. Yes, so you can see all these swim lines here, and all your stories, those were actually not mapped with anything, is showing on none. So if you just quickly change the swim lanes here, you will be able to see all the custom field swim lane. So I can say let's send it to expedite, and let's this change it to this one is expedited. Which one? This one? No, this one we need to change, and let's make it as a time bound, and let's see where those get effect. Again, I will be selecting this one. I can change it to again intangible, and also you can move it from within this swim lane so that the value will change automatically. So if something got expedited, you can take an exception, or if something got suddenly ended, you can move it there. So this is how you will be implementing your swim lanes, the work in progress limit, the exit criteria, the customized column, and in this view you can able to see different options, like if you want to add task, you can do it from here. You can want to add defects, you can do it here, or any discussion, you can add it from here. And if you want to make any actions, you can see all these over there. You can mark is ready to pull. So normally what happen is there are two on the first video we talked about doing and done. So you can mark this story by clicking here, as this is done on this column, and you can move it to next column. So whatever is in green, you can move it here, and then again once you will move it, it will that green will lose. So let's see it once again. I have clicked it here, it shows this is now green, that means it's ready to pull, and you can move it here. Now again this is work in progress, and that green will go. So that's why this is an indication of ready to pull. Whenever we were doing on if you remember the basic concept of Kanban, we were having each column were having doing and done. So if this is not green, that means we are doing. If it is green, that means it's done and ready to pull. So that way you will be able to move the stories, and you can also change the card color. So we talked about if you don't want to have these different swim lanes, you can change the color by selecting any of the colors, like green means something, and that way. So it will be keep on showing, this bar will be showing on that color. So anything intangible it will be shown in that color. Now if you want to add some fields or more values into the card, you can actually click here and select what do you want to show. So it's showing, it can show the task, so it can show anything that you want. So if you see, okay, this is an intangible story, you want to see the due date or the end date, accepted date, close date, in progress, open date, target date. So target date is your normally it's work for defect, but you can have one custom date also. So if you show it, it will not show any target date here, because target date is only applicable for your defect. So you can have a custom field that you want to show here, you can show it there for stories. Okay. So that's how you will be able to work on your Kanban board. One more difference I want to show you on the previous report and that one. So previously we were doing on team board, and it has a good functionality of showing the graph, all necessary graphs for your Kanban. That's your cumulative flow, cycle time, and throughput. As of now there is no data, so it's not showing any value, but once you'll be having there from this report, you can actually get it. The only disadvantage of this report is we were unable to make those swim lanes over here, but the board we talked about here, that's having more flexibility and visibility and easy to work on a Kanban way. The only disadvantage here is if you look into the board for particular this one, if you click here, it says show cycle time and show throughput. It's not showing the cumulative flow. So you can see the cycle time by clicking it here. So there is another way you can have the cumulative flow for this particular board by clicking on again new, I can say CFD for this team, this project, and none, and I'll be adding 7 close, and again let's say I'll have one report here, and I can say cumulative iteration project cumulative flow system. So I will say project cumulative flow, because we don't need it iteration wise. Add this app, and you can actually configure the this board by setting up what are your columns. So project cumulative flow, you want to do it globally or specific to this project. Let me set it for particular this project. So here we have selected a Kanban demo, and in Kanban demo we have the field, which are the fields you want to select for your cumulative flow. As we have select the Kanban columns, and it will ask for what are the columns you want to include on your cumulative flow, because cumulative flow takes all the states. So I'm saying okay, let's to do in analysis, QA and UAT. Up to this I want to take my cumulative flow, and this is to do plus 4, and time frame, what the time frame you want. Let's say save. Yes, here cumulative flow is ready, and the day you will pass on, you will be able to see this flow, how it is changing from different colors and different dates. So that's all on Kanban, how we'll be working within Rally. So I guess whatever you are looking for, this video help you out to understand. If you still need something that I was unable to cover and that is in your mind, please feel free to leave a comment, and you can give the comment within the description of this particular video or on agiledigest.com, or you can drop me an email at sniladri@agiledigest.com. That's all for today. Please keep on watching the videos from our channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.